today.
Okay. Are you
And
able to share your screen?
it said I needed to send a request.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, I think I'm good now.
Oh, yeah.
All
There you go.
right, there we are.
Awesome.
I'm also super excited for you to hear from John Sashatombas. He is someone that I've spoken to just briefly, know him a little bit. So that'll be a great session for you. So let me go ahead and get this into my slideshow form, and we will get underway. All right, there I am. So again, talking about continual career improvement today. This is a little bit about me. I hope you'll listen to the podcast. A lot of career tips and leadership tips for business analysts and other tech professionals. Today, what we're going to cover, and we'll cover about why it's important to us in our professional careers. We're going to talk about VUCA. We're going to talk about the ITIL 4 continual improvement model. That might be something you're a little unfamiliar with, but stick with me. I'll hopefully pull them all together for you, and then we'll talk about continual career improvement. So first of all, if you have not heard about VUCA, VUCA is an acronym for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. VUCA occurs in organizations, and the impact of VUCA in organizations leads us to experience VUCA in our careers and in our personal lives. So diving into each of these factors a little bit. First, volatility. So volatility occurs when there are tense and unstable situations. For example, we all went through the pandemic and supply chain issues, and that impacted organizations. Organizations facing a volatile situation need to ask themselves certain questions. For example, will this create a spike in prices? How high will that be? How long will it last? How can we be more agile so that we can deal with this volatility when it comes? And the same questions apply to volatility in our careers. Will this result in a challenge to my job? If so, how long will this last? How can I become more agile in my career so that volatility is less impactful? Next up, we've got uncertainty. And uncertainty occurs when a situation leaves us with a lack of knowledge of whether a certain event is likely to occur or not. And we should ask ourselves how we can focus our efforts on getting better information. Then there's complexity. And as business analysts, I think we know a lot about complexity. It occurs when there are many interconnected parts. As organizations grow larger, the complexity increases. More bureaucracy, more structure, new markets, more stakeholders. As complexity increases, many organizations choose to restructure and simplify, both inside and outside the company. And that can happen in our careers as well. You know, maybe we now have families to support. Maybe we now have housing to pay for. Maybe we moved further away from an office, and now we're being told to be in the office more. So how can we accomplish our goals, and is there anything we need to restructure or simplify? And then finally, ambiguity. Ambiguity occurs when situations have no obvious cause and effect. It's different from uncertainty because when a situation is ambiguous, you don't really know whether you've got enough information to make a decision. Sometimes that means you have to take a calculated risk. You have to try different strategies, and you need to analyze each one until you have some confidence in which strategy will be best. All right, I see some chats in the comments. Oh, goodness, you're seeing this? I am so sorry. I will close that out. Switch over. Maybe.
If you have an extended monitor, you normally just drag that to the other window.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. Well,
No
I
worries.
thank you all for
Thank you.
staying with me. So, talking about VUCA, over 152,000 tech workers were laid off globally in 2024. Oh, come on. Just between December and January, there were 161,000 new COVID cases. And with the advent of AI, it's estimated that there could be hundreds of millions of people that may need to change their careers by 2030. Now, this isn't to frighten anyone. This isn't to help you feel uneasy. But when these things happen, we can do a lot of things to prepare. And we can develop an immunity to failure. We can cultivate a bias for action. We can learn quickly. We can iterate and ensure that we don't waste too much time. So the key takeaway from this is that we can maintain success and satisfaction by identifying how we operate, then adapting to fit changing environments. So now let's talk about continual improvement. So I don't know if any of you are familiar with ITIL. ITIL was originally known as the IT Infrastructure Library, and it's a framework of best practices for delivering value to organizations through IT services. As part of ITIL, they released a new version of it a few years ago, ITIL 4, and speaking specifically of IT service management, it's a way to help organizations manage risk, strengthen their customer relationships, and to build an IT environment that can grow and scale and change. As part of ITIL 4, they released this continual improvement model. And the continual improvement model provides simple and logical steps for an improvement initiative. And this can be done at any scale, meaning that the same steps apply no matter how big or how small your organization is. So one of the ways of addressing VUCA is through continual improvement. One of the ways of addressing VUCA in our lives and in our careers is through ensuring that we are pursuing continual career improvement. So let's talk about the continual improvement model. We're only going to talk about the first few steps today, but I hope that it will instill in you attitude of pursuing continual improvement in your career and a desire to look into it further. So the first step is vision. We really need to know where we are going. One of the ways that we can establish this vision and understand where it is that we're trying to go is through vision statements. And some research has shown that having a vision statement helps you to engage and coordinate and direct the effort toward a shared goal. And communicating that vision statement with your immediate supervisors or accountability partners helps you integrate the vision into your work and helps you sort of understand where you are with your job satisfaction and performance. Now, as organizations, we would have a corporate strategy. We would ask ourselves some guiding questions. How do we define success? What's our purpose? What's our vision? What's going on with our business portfolio? Do we need to change it? Are there benchmarks that we need to be aware of? How can we ensure that we're successfully sustaining change? Well, we need to ask the same questions of ourselves in our professional life. How do I define a great life? What's my purpose? What's my vision? What's my portfolio? Have I met certain benchmarks, and do I want to go beyond those benchmarks? How can I make sure that I am changing in a successful and a sustainable way? So your next step could be to create a vision board. You can do this on paper, or you could use a tool like Pinterest. I don't know how many of you go to Pinterest, but there's a way to go to Pinterest and create a vision board. So I had planned, let me see if I can give you an example.
Okay, while you're pulling that up, we have a question from the audience.
Sure.
Michael, yeah. By the way, I use Pinterest all the time.
Very good. Yes, Michael. And I cannot hear.
I can't hear him either, but you have permission to talk, Michael, or you can type in the chat. So up to you. Might have misclicked. Okay, no worries. All right, back to you, Tracy.
Okay. All right. So I was going to show you an example of my vision board. So when I went to my vision board, I created all sort of pins. You know, I want to be able to have clients. I want to have mini courses. I want to keep improving and that kind of thing. So I put a lot of pins together, and this was my vision board. So being a solopreneur. And so all of my pins are about that. And anyway, it gets me ideating. And every once in a while, I come and look at this and see if there's anything that I might want to add to it, if there's anything that is sort of speaking to me at the time, anything that I may not have thought of previously. So I hope you'll give that a try. You know, search for images that represent your values and goals and create your own vision board, and then go back and look at it frequently. The next step of the model would be, where am I now? So you've got this vision. You need to understand, okay, what's my situation right now? One of the ways you can do this is through what's known as a Wheel of Life assessment. So reflective practice is part of being a professional and part of continuing development. So you kind of really have to dig into, what is my situation right now? Does it match up with what my vision is? So this Wheel of Life assessment goes across several different areas. And you can see here the number of areas that it goes across. And say, for example, I'm doing pretty good with health. My health is filled out all the way. But guess what? my relationships are not filled out all the way. I'm missing something there. I need to do more to build better relationships. And, you know, my career could be a little better. So this Wheel of Life assessment, and here's how you can go to do a Wheel of Life assessment. And I just thought I'd show this to you as well. So you can come to this wheeloflife.io, take the assessment, and then it's going to ask you a bunch of questions, 1 to 10. And then once you answer all the questions, it will give you that beautiful model there and give you an idea of what you want to do further. So you've got this vision, you know where it is you are right now. Now you need to understand, okay, where do I want to be? Sometimes this really happens in your mid-career. So I remember as a more junior to mid-level BA, I reflected a lot, like, was I happy with the situation where I was? I had a steady job, things were going pretty good, but the more I reflected, the more I realized, you know what, there's more that I want to do. So as you reflect, here would be 6 questions that you could ask yourself. What will I regret not having done or learned 10 years from now? How do I tap into my purpose? What mastery or gift have I developed that I can offer to the world? What do I want my days to look like? Now, I know many of you, if you work for US companies, you maybe you're working in the middle of the night or you're on all the time. And does that align with what you want your days to look like? That would be a question to ask. What trade-offs are you willing to make or no longer willing to make? And what's getting better about my life? Your participation in the IIBA, that's what's getting better about your life. Mm-hmm. So then we need to make a plan to get there. Now, as business analysts, you know all about planning, you know all about action plans. But straight from the Baybock, planning is an essential task to ensure value is delivered to an enterprise. It occurs more than once on a given initiative. Plans are updated continually to address changing business conditions and new issues. Some concepts to consider. You've all hopefully seen the competency model, or the concept model in this case. So as we look at the principles of the concept model, one of them is change. So what do I need to change? What's missing? What's the solution? Who do I need to involve? What value do I hope to achieve? And what do I need to understand? These are all questions that we should ask as business analysts anyway, but this can also be pertinent to our professional lives, like how do we want to proceed from here? You would take action. So work your plan, review and measure your progress, check in with your support team, revise your plan, and reward as you progress. So I wanted to share with you some of my career journey, and hopefully this will show you the things that each of us can do to better address VUCA in our careers and continually get better. So in 2015, I left a secure job. I had been there nearly 20 years. But I was a little stuck there. I didn't have advancement opportunity. I didn't have enough influence. And I started networking a little bit, and I realized that I was very underpaid for a business analyst in this area. I wanted more. So through that networking, I took a new job, but it was in a domain and industry that I knew right away that I did not enjoy. I was bored by it. And I was also bullied by some of the team there because how I wanted to do the job and how they wanted to do the job were not aligned. There was a lack of innovation, a lack of leadership, and a toxic culture. But I knew that to get out of that, I needed to do something more. So I needed a bigger challenge. I wanted to be on larger projects and make a difference. So I started a master's degree. One of the things that came out of that master's degree was a new job. A company reached out to me on LinkedIn, and very shortly thereafter, I joined that company. I also joined a coaching mastermind, which, if any of you know Laura Brandenburg, Laura has been one of my mentors over the years. After that master,
you had her here as a speaker.
Yeah, so Laura's amazing. And after her coaching mastermind, I was able to graduate with my master's degree. And then another LinkedIn thing happened. I was recruited for a bigger role in a new organization. And that was in 2019. So summer of 2019, everything is going great and I'm happy. And then end of 2019 into 2020 comes. We had the pandemic. But one of the things that happened was as a result of my previous job, where I had been commuting a lot, I started listening to a lot of podcasts. So I thought, that sounds kind of fun. So I started a podcast, and then I started a website because I thought, well, I need to host the podcast somewhere. And then I started speaking a little bit. I got an ITIL 4 certification. Well, and then in 2021, we're still in the pandemic, but I thought, you know what, I want to do more. And so I fortuitously found a doctoral program, and I've been working on a doctoral degree since then. And finally, a couple of years ago, I launched my coaching company. Things were really looking up. I was really prepared, but I knew that something was probably coming and that I needed to maybe take some steps to ensure that I was prepared enough. And wouldn't you know it, but I was laid off due to reorganization and workforce reduction. Shortly after that, through some of my IIBA connections, I got a new role as a consultant, and I've been at that company ever since, and it's taken my career in a way that I probably never envisioned. And I wanted to keep learning, so I started learning French. So some of you I know are multilingual, and not every American is multilingual, and I'm sure you know that as well. But I wanted to just keep learning and make myself more marketable. So the takeaway for me during all of this time was that if we proactively prepare for VUCA, and if we embrace continual improvement, then we can build the life and the career that we want. Wrapping up, VUCA will always be with us. And if we're smart and if we're proactive, we will always be preparing for VUCA, doing continual career improvement so that we can thrive in spite of it. I wanted to leave you with a call to action today. And your call to action would be to decide what's your career vision, to take stock of where you are right now, to decide where you want to be, and decide how you will get there. Also, if you email me, Tracy@traceabilitycoach.com, I will send you your free personal power plan template, just a template for you to fill out and sign and share it with your boss, so that between you and your boss, you have a plan. And if not your boss, then an accountability partner or a family member, friend, but a plan that you can put in place to help you to thrive and do the things that will help you to address VUCA in your career. I don't know how many of you know or knew Bob the BA. Bob was one of my BA mentors, and he sadly passed in 2020. I had a chance to interview him on Traceability Podcast. He was very gracious to do that shortly before he passed. And he wrote a book about being a badass BA. So most people are not really open to the idea of change. They talk a good game, but no action. You need to really get out of your box, circle, square, roundtangle, whatever you're living in, and embrace change if you want a badass business analyst career. Be open to change and the positive or negative effects it has on us. Why? Because that is how we learn and grow. So wanted to leave those words from Bob with you. And then these are some sources where I got all of my information from. So I would be happy to take any questions. You're welcome to put them in the chat if you don't want to go off mute. So maybe I will ask some questions. So how many folks do we have on the call today, by the way?
We have 11.
Well, that's fantastic. What is everyone's career situation? Do we have senior BAs, junior BAs? Maybe a mix? Has anyone been experiencing career?
BA. Some Shivani. Shivani says aspiring BA. Welcome, by the way. Shivani, why are you joining us?
Welcome.
I don't think you're based in the Philippines, are you? So
Terrific,
you have
Shivani.
any advice specific for aspiring BAs?
The first thing I would probably advise is you're doing the right thing by being here at a BA networking event. I would say take some time to network with some business analysts. Take some time to shadow them if you can, or understand sort of a day in the life of a business analyst. I would also say to maybe target a domain that you're interested in. And when I say domain, I sort of equate that to industry. So whether that's in operations, whether that's in analytics, any other technology companies, that kind of thing, consulting. I would say get to know some contacts in the domains that sound interesting to you and start networking with some BAs. Understand what the role is about and the types of questions that you help address and how you can support organizations. Sort of my first tip if you're an aspiring BA.
Thank you for that. And by the way, for those of you who are, if you're looking to land a new role, then I know a few colleagues who are looking to hire within the Philippines, so you can go ahead and reach out, and I'll connect you guys.
So
that's
hi Genevieve, terrific. Trying to transition to a BA role. Whatever the folks at IIBA can do to support you in that, we are all happy to do. And then Patrick, you're a senior BA, and I'm grateful for you being here today to get the perspective of another senior BA. So Patrick, you are leading a small team of BAs. Are there things that you would recommend as a BA leader that you would share with your team for continual improvement? I would be interested to know that.
Hello, Tracy.
Hi, Patrick.
Hello. Hi. I'm, well, actually on top of leading a small team of BA, I'm also part of our organization's BA community, where
Great.
I am also facilitating training courses. And one of the areas that I would always, I guess, impart or focus on would be as a BA is for us to ensure value in all of that we are doing. And one of the ways that we can do that is to always ask the question of why. Of why are we doing an initiative? Why is a project started? Because if we know the why, then it will enable us to always have a focus on how to ensure we are able to meet the goal and not get sidetracked by a lot of the, I guess, quote unquote, wants of our stakeholders. You know, whenever we would have elicitations and discussions, we can always streamline the wants to the needs if we are able to understand the why and always align those to the needs of the project. So I guess that's always one of the things that I would always impart to a lot of new BAs attending our programs and courses. To the teams I'm handling is to always ask why. And given that a lot of Filipinos or I guess Asians are not very, I guess, assertive in a way, shy to ask. So that's always something that I would always encourage them to do, to always understand and not just follow orders or, you know.
Yeah. And I would say that culturally, my Philippine friends just are very generous and very friendly. And there are ways that you can approach questions using your cultural ways of doing things that can help you feel assertive, but at the same time, doing it in a way that works for you. And then Simarjeet, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Interview hacks for successful or getting into a BA role. My interview hacks are always not so much with the questions that I am asked, but more along the lines of having what I call me in 30 seconds statement, or you might think of it as a pitch or something. But if I were to go into an interview, one of the first things in the US that they would ask would be to tell me about yourself. So I would prepare hi, I'm Tracy. I've been a business analyst for this amount of time. I'm very passionate about business analysis and how it can provide value to your organization. I specialize in process modeling or data analytics. I'd really like to join this role because here's what I think I can bring to it, kind of thing. I would also encourage what I call power statements. So you could say, I am organized. As evidence of me being organized, I have done this, 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 and this. So always be prepared to speak to scenarios of how you have displayed value as a business analyst. And Patrick or Manu, any senior BAs have any tips for that?
Yeah, I totally agree. And maybe you can add to this too, Patrick. Yes, come prepared, understand the need that you're trying to fill. Of course, you have to do your homework. And then, of course, when you talk to the person in front of you, ask why, right? Like, really understand the need behind the need and like how you can best align yourself to that need.
I think just to add to that, those are very good inputs, Manu and Tracy. One thing that I have always heard from a lot of like public speakers is as you prepare, it is also good to try to record yourself speaking and trying to answer probably hypothetical questions. It will enable you to review your voice if you are speaking clearly. It will enable you to see your facial reactions, your non-verbal communications. Because if you are going to be attending an interview, regardless if it's virtual or face-to-face, most of the time it's going to be like camera on. So it's good to be able to project your best self, not just in the way you pronounce or answer the question, but how you visually, project yourself to the interviewer. So that's I think a good practice or tip in your preparations in such interviews or any other activities on your career moving forward.
I totally agree with that, Patrick. And one of the ways that I do that is I like to role play. So I have somebody opposite me who is giving me some interview questions, and then I respond to them. So role play is, I believe, a BA technique in the Bay Box, so something we should all be familiar with. Arlen, thank you for another senior BA and project consultant. That's fantastic. A chance to teach and share your BA experience. Is there a quick course for this? There are always opportunities to share. For example, I would talk to Manu and Xander and everyone at IIBA and see what opportunities there might be for you to share your experience and knowledge. Maybe example, like a panel conversation or something. Quick courses, not always a lot of quick courses for teaching and such. It's more along the lines of practicing, as Patrick said. So putting yourself out there to your network and then practicing. You can always find practice courses on presentation giving. You can have those on Udemy if you use Udemy there. They're also available on LinkedIn Learning. So that's one of the things you can do is to understand better about presentation skills.
Yeah, check out Tracy's podcast. You can pick up a lot of learning there for sure.
Yeah, we've got a lot of content about leadership and best practices in our careers and such. So would love to have you be a listener.
And for those of you who want speaking opportunities and that sort of thing, feel free to reach out to our LinkedIn page. I will get your message personally, and we can explore those. For those of you who want to network further within this group right here, feel free to drop your own LinkedIn in the chat so we can connect and explore further. And keep the questions coming. We have time for a few more.
Genevieve.
Hi, Tracy. Hi, everyone. I hope you can
Hi.
hear me. Hi. Okay. I just have a quick question. As I said, I am actually trying to transition to a BA role. I've been doing software engineering manager roles for quite some time now, and I think apart from not having the edge of the official title yet on my CV, what I see as the biggest challenge for me is actually landing an invite for an interview, because especially now that companies have been using ATS systems widely. I think most of the companies are using that to scan the CVs. I know that I need to put in the right keywords, specific skills for this role, but if you have some other tip for me that maybe I could add on my CV right now to make sure that it still kind of captures attention, even though I don't have the official experience yet. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Genevieve. So you're trying to spin off in another direction, and I think that's a great thing. One of the things for me is I don't do a lot of applying online. I do most of my applying through networking with friends. So I would make sure that you put out to your network, hey, I'm looking to become a business analyst, and I'd love to learn more about it. I have a strong background in engineering, but I'd like to segue into business analysis. And, I would start it out that way. And you already know to position your resume in terms of the value that you bring and what you did in previous roles. I would ensure that you position your resume to say, I worked on this project which delivered this value, and here's how I use a business analyst skill on it, even though I was an engineer. So the same rules would apply as an engineer. That sometimes clients want to do something and you think, why in the world would they want to do that? And so being a little more assertive that way. So I would say definitely networking first and foremost, putting out to your network that you want to transition your role. And then, as Simranjeet has said, to make sure that you're updating your resume to provide value and showcase that there were some BA skills that you used, and you can find some of those in the BA Bot.
Okay, that's very helpful, Tracy. Thank you.
You're welcome. Angelita, did I get that right? Aspiring business analyst and researching entry-level opportunities. Are there apprentice programs or similar structured training initiatives available? I don't know of any particular apprenticeship programs that there are always things you can do within your organization, and that's why I talk to people about, put like your plan together with your supervisor so that your supervisor knows what it is that you want to transition your role to. And Patrick, I'm sure that you can attest here that you would gladly help them find ways to do some BA work or do some different things based on where they want their career trajectory to go. that still would provide value where they are.
Well, one of the things that I have learned when I was onboarded onshore in Japan, that is where I learned or understood the value of networking, of going out and talking to people outside of your team, having quick conversations while taking a break, having coffee. Because having those conversations with other people, different role, different project, having those casual conversations opens up opportunities that they have that you may not directly know if in case you were just stuck in your
Mhm.
own in your same like BA roles. So I guess it's good to always network within your organization, try to mingle from other teams, other roles, join IIBA Philippines events, network with them. And it's really more of really just networking, as Tracy mentioned. A lot of times, if there are people who are willing to vouch for you, it will be easier for you to transition to a new role or a new opportunity.
Mhm. For sure. And that's how I got my current role. I had always worked in corporate organizations, but I kind of wanted to figure out how to be a consultant. And a couple of things happened, and both because of IIBA. One guy that I had known for many years at IIBA has his own Salesforce consultancy, and he wanted somebody to come in and do some process modeling. So I got a few hours a week doing that for him in addition to my current job at the time. And that sort of helped me get a feel for consulting so that after I got laid off at my previous job, I was able to connect with this friend at this consulting company, and she put in a good word for me. So very much agree with what Patrick said there.
Also, thank you for that. Also, I might add that having the certification, having the credential, whether it's ECBA or CCBA or CBAP, that really helps. That really communicates to, like, that's a universal indicator that you have your fundamentals and you have the relevant experience and that you're really working on this expertise.
All right, Mark, thank you for this question. This is something that I have done several times now. So tips for a junior BA who's been in a certain industry and wants to transition to a new industry. So first of all, I would say get to know the industry that you're interested in, get to know people in that industry, and again, through that networking. As Angela talks about, and she says it's more about the principles of being a BA that apply to no matter what organization you go or domain you go into. The principles of business analysis will always be the same. So I would say first get to know the industry you want to get into, network with people in that industry. And as you approach your resume, as you approach interviewing, make sure that you have the fundamentals of business analysis, show how you have used them, and then it will help you transition into a new industry. And then you have to, repeat the skills all over again. So transitioning to a new industry is a challenge for sure, but just ensuring that you know the fundamentals is a huge help for that. All right. Man, I really love all the questions today. This was a fantastic session. Thank you, guys. Just super grateful to have been here with you today. Are there any more questions? Thanks, Angelita.
Hey. Before we wrap up, I'd just like to present you with, and we're gonna post this. We're gonna post this too on LinkedIn. But
Oh, thank you.
so it's here. Yeah, thank you
This
so
is
much.
wonderful. I'm very
Um,
touched. Thank you.
Yeah. This has been great. It's been really nice to virtually connect and have this session with you. Lots of cool new tools to pick up here. I'm personally gonna get to work on my Pinterest board and that presentation soon after this. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much
Terrific.
everyone for joining. It's been great getting to know each and every one of you.
For
The
sure.
network is really why we do this, right? Like aside from the
Mhm.
fundamentals and doing things better, for me it's about really connecting with people and getting to know each of their stories. And yours is like a super interesting one, Tracy. I look forward to seeing more of yours and moving forward with the rest of you guys too.
And don't forget to email me, everyone, and I will send you that form that you can fill out and start having your conversations.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.